Is it bata? Is it bata? We'll have to find
Ooh,
out.
I like that. Bata, like baton.
Bata. Hello, Meepers! Today, we're checking out the largest collection of shoes in the world. Come along with us as we step into the Bata Shoe Museum. This is our second video from our Toronto series. We did a lot of awesome things when we were in Toronto. If you're interested in our Toronto videos, we have one where we dined in the dark at Au Noir restaurant. It was pretty great. You should check it out. We're going to have one more video that we'll leave a secret for now. We wanted a blend of things that were interesting and fun, that were Toronto-esque, you know, the things that tourists do when they go to new places. We did do a handful of those things, but we also wanted to try some stuff that was a little different, not at the top of that TripAdvisor rating. We wanted to see some parts of Toronto that weren't as popular. James and I decided one of the things we wanted to do was to try out the Bata Shoe Museum. This is going to be the start of our Introvert series. It's geared more towards people who like fewer crowds, fewer people. Physically, where it is located, it's not off the beaten path. It's on a busy street. It's not hard to find. It's a beautiful architectural building. It's named after Sonia Bata, who had a private shoe collection and a shoe passion and wanted to bring that to the masses. Right when you walk in, they have their souvenir shop and their lobby, and you can walk right into their exhibits after you, of course, buy tickets. And interestingly enough, right in the lobby, there was a display for the In Bloom, and it turned out that you could buy some of those shoes.
It looks like you can order these shoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Every pair of shoes sold from the American Duchess in Bloom collection benefits and supports the Bata Shoe Museum in their study, outreach, and conservation.
Their first floor, right when you walk in, that's called like their media room. They also refer to it as Footwear Through the Ages. And this is where you walk in and you see some of the historic shoes and the history of shoes throughout humanity. It's really incredible. You know, they're on display and you can see like, wow, that's a shoe from hundreds or thousands of years ago, from halfway across the planet. We all wear shoes. I think it's something that connects us not just to each other, but to the earth.
We all bleed blood and we all wear shoes.
They had one shoe on display that basically looked like a Gothic European clown shoe. It was funny and terrifying at the same time. Bozo's ancestors.
It's like a stake to kill vampires.
It looks like something an evil clown would have in their closet.
You could see that shoe being used as a weapon in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Absolutely. Just pick it up. Those shoes in Holland, what they call them translates in English to beak shoes.
Like the Plague Doctor.
Exactly. Kind of pointy like that. There was a pair of shoes, I think, that you said looked like they had like candy wrappers or something on them.
Oh, the Ferraro Rancho shoes?
Yes, Rancho. Someone unwrapped a lot of Ferrero Rocher.
Yes, that's the candy I was thinking of.
Yeah, I know what you
Yeah,
were
okay,
putting down.
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotcha. They had a bunch of snacks and then they made shoes.
Yeah.
They had a section on display in that main floor about Chinese foot binding.
Historically, women would bind their feet and wrap them up really tightly to make sure they stayed small and they never grew too large, because tiny feet were beautiful and feminine and a status symbol.
Like a corset, every time you put it on, tighten it a little more so that you fit into it.
You're almost
So,
mummifying your feet.
you are.
Wow.
So foot binding, for the most part, got banned because of how inhumane it's considered.
I'd like to think I'm a moderately intelligent person, or maybe
you
it's
are.
because I'm a dude, but I did not know that.
That was just really fascinating and interesting, especially as someone like me who has size 11 feet. I know my feet are ugly and big, and I'm fine with that.
They're smelly too.
Yes, thank you. I've won competitions for how smelly my feet are. They had another display that was talking about the Baroque era in like the 16th and 17th century in Europe, and high heels coming into fashion. How it was a status symbol for men and women and children. Everyone wore high heels.
High heels were invented for men to raise their stature up so they look taller, more powerful, more influential.
And then when men abandoned heels, women were the ones who eventually went back to it, and now heels are considered a feminine or womanly thing. Where did high heels come from? The Persian army invented, or that's the first reference we found in history for high heels. Men invented heels for their military so that they could stay on their horses, and that's why modern day cowboy boots are heeled and have spurs so that you can keep your boots properly in the stirrups when you're riding a horse.
If you guys like this video, leave it in the comments. I'll do a YouTube challenge where I'll wear high heels and walk a mile.
Please, oh my god, please, please. I think this is something that everyone needs to see. Please like and comment. We can make it happen, but only if you let us. So, as you're walking around, you get kind of the history of the shoes and progression through human history. Then it starts to turn into more fashion versus function. So this is where you get into known designers from earlier time periods. You can see how fashion has changed and what people gravitated towards based on their location, geography, and time within history and social status. We found a pair of shoes, and you forgot the name of the designer.
This reminds me of, what is it, Milana Blahniks? Or those fancy shoes we saw.
Even I know, and I'm not a shoe person.
James doesn't know shoe designers. It's not really his thing.
I know more than most guys.
And some of his attempts to remember and say their names, it's pretty fun. It's cute. Once you go past that main floor, we went up the stairs, and that led to kind of an elevated second floor mini exhibit that actually has a pair of shoes from Sonia Bata on display.
Oh wow, I'm getting some good sparkle here.
She didn't want her personal collection to be on display, and she didn't want her personal style to influence or mar all of the shoes in the collection.
Well, you know what, Sonia? Kudos to you, because these are some slamming shoes.
Yeah. There were some shoes on display from Priyanka, who was a winner of Canada's Drag Race. Those looked fierce.
They look pretty dope. Terrifying and amazing.
I like that you described it as fierce. That's so true.
Yeah, it's so fierce. I love it.
There were some fun cowboy boots that were there that were made for kids.
These shoes, boots, look like decadent cowboys.
This is what, if you were to tell ChatGPT or AI to make shoes, this is what they would make.
Like gold cowboy boots.
Yes.
They would make these. Right next to these crazy warm boots. Those look so beautiful and soft and warm and comfortable. That's my kind of shoe.
And then we moved into the Obsessed exhibit. The Obsessed exhibit is basically about how society became obsessed with shoes. In earlier times, an artisan could make 1 or 2 pairs of shoes or boots a day. After production came into account and industrialization, suddenly you could mass produce shoes. That really had an impact on the shoe industry for fashion and production, and provided the ability for more people to buy and wear shoes. There was also a pair of shoes that were on display that we thought were pretty cool.
These look like shoes made out of those expensive window curtains.
These are beautiful.
Are they pink? Are they purple?
Oh, like that dress.
Is the dress blue or is it gold?
It's like a pink purple.
It has a magenta quality to it.
Magenta, I like that.
The purple shoes reflected a craze that had come across for people to have vibrant and bright colors in their shoes.
18-year-old chemist William Henry Perkins accidentally made synthetic purple while trying to find a new treatment for malaria.
So this is like the penicillin of shoes.
This is the penicillin of shoes. And they're beautiful.
It talks about knockoffs. Instead of being able to say, I have these nice, expensive, beautiful, intricate, unique shoes, once they started mass producing them and creating knockoffs to try and replicate that, people who didn't have as much money or status could afford a similar shoe. It blurred some of those social status lines.
Knockoff generics, all the way back in the late 19th century.
Knockoffs were a thing even then.
Consumerism, a thing back then.
Not too dissimilar again from modern day society.
Absolutely not. We then moved into a different section that had some Sex and the City shoes, which we thought were pretty cool.
How can this be?
They had a pair of Jimmy Choos on display, which were my favorite.
Shoes in the city.
These are Jimmy Choo. I like these. They look like they have a little superhero mask on them.
Oh, I like them.
Then they also had the Manolo Blahniks.
See, I was close.
James was in the ballpark. He just wasn't in quite the right seat.
How do you pronounce it again?
Manolo Blahnik.
What did I say? Milana Blancs.
I'm not sure.
When these shoes were incorporated into the Sex and the City show, suddenly the demand for these shoes, the Jimmy Choos, the Manolo Blahniks, were suddenly very desirable and elevated.
So how much do you think these shoes cost?
100 times 400. There's your down payment.
I'd say 1,500. That
Yeah.
sounds low.
Roughly around there, on average, depending on customization. Not too bad.
So in baseball terms, I made contact with the ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't a home run, it wasn't a strikeout.
Good job.
Another thing that I thought was interesting in that display, it talked about how those high heels had become a universal symbol for women.
It says not only did the stiletto become a staple of the feminine wardrobe, but it's an image that's been used to signify femininity. Found on everything from washroom signs to tote bags.
I hate to disappoint you, but the bathroom doors at Bata Shoe Museum don't have shoes on them. It was an unfulfilled opportunity. So after that exhibit, we wandered along and went up some stairs, and when we walked in, James's attitude changed right away because this exhibit was about futuristic shoes, and one of the first things that they had were VR shoes.
Yeah, we have this at home.
Well, we do have it, but we changed our VR space to our YouTube studio space.
Yeah.
VR space.
Oh, this is very unexpected.
They probably have sensors on them and
This is cool.
Who knew? I mean,
Who
just
knew?
different.
Took me by surprise. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that in a shoe museum.
Yeah, just really caught us off guard. We're like, oh, that's a different perspective. They had 3D printed shoes. You know, of course, like
Makes sense. You don't think about it, but
yeah,
it makes sense.
right? One of the other pairs of shoes they had in the Future Now exhibit were the gamer shoes.
What the hell is a gamer shoe? Designed for console gamers to wear while playing. I should add that to my Christmas wish list.
you know what's going to happen though? If you get these shoes, you'll get them as a joke, and then you'll wear them and you'll be like, how did I live without the shoes?
Right.
And they won't be a joke anymore.
One of the things we were talking about is James might want to invent some PC gaming
Oh,
shoes.
I'm sure someone's already done that.
Like those robot made. Adidas made them a reality when the company created its first speed factory in 2015.
What's number 11?
Those don't even look like shoes.
How would you even wear those?
Very carefully.
They called them molded shoes that were made out of vacuum cast fiberglass encased in chrome. I think they were just a fashion statement or to show that we could do it, but maybe not necessarily that we should. A little Jurassic Park for you.
Check this out. 13 is just called dope.
With a question. Oh, boosted running performance.
Damn.
It's equivalent to mechanical doping, but it was never banned.
They were called like the Nike Zoom Vaporfly 4%. And they were so lightweight and innovative, they almost enhanced athletes to the point of like doping. Just, you know, different shoes like that cross fashion into athleticism. Another thing they had on display were some shoes from Allyson Felix, who is the most decorated person in Olympic history from the United States in track and field.
She faced a lot of backlash when she got pregnant. They were going to drop her as a sponsor. She basically was like, I don't need you. She started her own sneaker company.
Dude, that's badass.
I love it.
She won a gold medal wearing the shoes that her company had made. So I love it. They had biomorphic shoes.
These are perfect for the set of Last of Us. They look like the mold, the fungi, the spores, the disease.
Yes.
That's what they look like. I don't think they could run very quickly in them.
It looked like the fungus rising up and growing, but they're meant for your feet. They're biomorphic shoes. They had rainbow spike shoes that were awesome.
They have a Pokemon anime cartoony look to it. How do you keep stable?
I feel like I'd wear them and they could be good in mud. I mean, they'd get filthy, but they had the nice spikes in them that were pretty cool and colorful. So when we left the Future Now exhibit, we went up the stairs that had holes in them. We could see some of their conservation efforts.
They're all conserving their work-life balance right now.
Yes.
And then you move into the In Bloom collection. That collection was beautiful. The exhibit was just the way it was designed and set up, really lovely and pretty. So the In Bloom collection is a celebration of how nature has provided meaning and material for shoemaking across history, across time and space. They had shoes for hydrangeas and chrysanthemums and roses and strawberries.
What are these shoes? So is this like to simulate walking on grass?
Chrysanthemums symbolize joy and happiness.
Oh, that's nice. Now I feel like an ass.
I don't know if they were more of an artistic statement versus
I
actual
think it was more artistic.
function and versatility and use. I think it was more artistic, but that doesn't mean you couldn't put them on and try them out. Not that they would let you. I mean, they are shoes in a museum. They probably wouldn't let my stinky feet get near them. That's a good thing.
So just because we're in a shoe museum doesn't mean there isn't crossover for invention. This is talking about rubber, how it was discovered and utilized. Here it mentions Charles Goodyear.
Oh, Goodyear.
Recognized for tires.
He invented rubber vulcanization, which stabilized rubber and made it basically what it is today, that's used for shoes and tires and a slew of other things made of rubber.
I like these. an iris represents health and strength and protection.
I could see you wearing something like that.
Isn't it beautiful? So those are pretty. Pretty.
Check out these shoes. They look like something Dolores Umbridge or FB Trinket would wear.
Dolores Umbridge all the way.
Yeah.
Cat
Mm-hmm.
and these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're Birkenstock.
Designed by your favorite.
It's Milano blanket again.
Yes, blanket.
Again, you're in a museum for shoes, but Charles Goodyear and tires and rubber and malaria and pink synthetic dyes just was fascinating that I would never have thought I'd have learned when I went to a museum about shoes. The whole time we're in this museum, there's a handful of people in a few different spots, but we never had to wait to look at an exhibit. We never had to be shoulder to shoulder to others or wait in line. It was open and
It's peaceful.
it was peaceful.
For a Saturday afternoon primetime museum hours,
Yeah.
it was a very perfect introverted experience.
Bata was great because almost every exhibit and every floor that we visited was quiet. We didn't have to wait for our turn to look at a particular pair of shoes. We could just move about at our own pace. Selfishly was lovely, but on the other hand, it's such an incredible museum, it's sad that it wasn't busier. Bata deserves big, large crowds.
They
So
do.
that's our Bata Shoe Museum. We highly encourage you guys to go check it out because it was pretty great. We have one more Toronto video that we're gonna release, our third and final one coming. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you check out Bata. If you like this video, subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. And until next time, happy meeping!